Trust attacks Punch over Buhari's editorial. The Punch newspaper fouled the political atmosphere on Wednesday last week with its editorial titled Buhari's Lawlessness, Our Stand. The editorial was triggered by the arrest of Sowore Reporters publisher Sowore, who was granted bail by a federal high court and was released on bail only to be rearrested hours later by Department of State Services (DSS) agents at the court premises in Abuja. Punch also cited the case of the Shiite leader Ibrahim Ezazaki, who was granted bail by the court but is still in detention. Sowore ran for president in the last general election. He polled 33,953 votes, or 0.12% of the 28,614,190 votes cast. Soon afterwards, he embarked on a protest tagged Revolution Now, for which he was arrested and charged to court for treason, accusing the authorities of disregarding court orders. Punch's editorial stated, as a symbolic demonstration of our protest against autocracy and military-style repression. Punch, all our print newspapers, The Punch, Saturday Punch, Sunday Punch, Sports Extra, and digital platforms, most especially punchng.com. We henceforth preface Buhari's name with his rank as a military dictator in the 80s, Major General, and refer to his administration as a regime until they purge themselves of their insufferable contempt for the rule of law. The editorial elicited reactions ranging from support to outrage. Presidential spokesman Femi Adesina said the newspaper's stand was proof of Buhari's commitment to free speech and press freedom. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, in a separate statement accused the newspaper of personal hatred and animus for the president. He said Punch never changed President Olusegun Obasanjo's title from President to General Obasanjo for violation of court order or that of General Ibrahim Babangida, who wasn't democratically elected but assumed the title of president and who closed media houses, including Punch, for several months. Femi Falana, SAN, counsel for both Sowore and Ezazaki, and NBA's National Publicity Secretary Kunle Edun, both said Punch is in order in addressing Buhari as a major general heading a regime which has contempt for the rule of law. Detained former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki's lawyer Ahmed Raji SAN, however, said since Buhari is the president for now, I believe we should address him as president. Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption Chairman Professor Ise Isagi described the editorial as a disgraceful and disrespectful. Senior Advocate of Nigeria Dr. Alex Izion said Punch's editorial policy was unconstitutional and that, despite the acts complained about, he remains the president. Everything considered, we believe that Punch went overboard in its reaction. It has the right to take a position on any issue, but to describe an elected government as a regime and to refuse to recognize the president by his statutory title as an attempt to delegitimize an elected president and the government he heads. While it is sometimes difficult by the nature of newspapers to draw a sharp dividing line, Punch's stand crossed the boundary between journalism and activism and could cause problems for proper journalism malpractice in the future. Government, too, could retaliate and describe us not as newspapers or journalists but as opposition activists and dictators. Such a stance would impair and harm the pursuit of good journalism. In all situations, therefore, wiser counsel should prevail instead of impulsive reaction. This is not to disagree with Punch on the need for the government to improve its democratic credentials and respect for court orders. The continued detention of Dasuki, Sowore, and Ezazaki, despite numerous court orders for their release on bail, is a blot on Nigeria's image and a dent on its democratic order. It is unjustifiable, unlawful, and unacceptable. The president and the vice president, not DSS, are elected to run the country's affairs. They must curtail the excess overzealousness and ensure that flagrant abuse of citizens' fundamental rights never happen again. Both Punch and the federal government should tone down their rhetoric and de-escalate the present tension. So guys, this is not really a new thing, from a Punch editorial, and Daily Trust is trying to, like, oh, they need to be balanced. We heard all the arguments, that in this scenario they are just trying to play the middleman. They just want to be the peacemaker, that everybody should just be, okay, or everybody should just maintain, and everybody should allow peace to reign. In all these their uh, rhetorics, that major general, not major general, and also telling the government to, stand, and to stand firm and take a responsibility so seriously and do the needful. They should be able to curtail the DSS, because the DSS is under them. But all being said, they are just trying to, I don't know whether to be peacemaker, to set the peace between the government and the Punch newspaper. I think we should be addressing the the issue on ground of not obeying court order, because when you talk about not obeying court order, with all the judgments and the position of the court, and with how the federal government has really disobeyed the court order compared to the name they are just calling him. Just like Additional said, that it's not really a different thing, that he earned the position or the title, that, and he was a general, and that's so that they have not said anything, you know different. They have not said anything different, because he was a general. But on the other side, from Garba Shehu, he was really angry that they are not patriotic, they are not this and that, and so they are really coming from different angles. Additional was just like, the Punch has not done anything so special or so spectacular. They have not done anything wrong in the first place, because it's not as if they are the one trying to give the man that name. That was what it was. That was his title. So even if they call him now, or before now, or in the future, that it's a welcome development. But Shehu Gaba, Abigaba Shehu, does not really agree to that, and a lot of different opinions and all of that. And Punch is coming on the angle of, because of what you are displaying, because normally as a president, it is expected you obey rule of law, and that was what you know you agreed to do. You swore an oath that you are going to obey and protect the law. But what are we seeing? So the behavior of the president, it is what the Punch is even talking about. It's not as if maybe they just woke up one day and began to, like, oh, we don't just want to be calling you that name. You cannot say, no, you cannot say you are from you are living in Nigeria and behaving like people who are not in Nigeria, behaving somehow. It's a different ballgame entirely. I think that's where Punch is really coming from. They are really coming from that angle. And Daily Trust is not really agreeing with that, because it might look as if they are, or it might seem as if they are acting as opposition party, that as a journalist, they are supposed to be in between, the people and the government, not, standing as an opposition party. That is the way Daily Trust is seeing this whole thing. And some people are reacting, based on what is on ground. Someone say Daily Trust is a coward and a bad example. And there is a popular saying that what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. If addressing you as a major general is annoying, then disobeying court order ruling is as much annoying. Say no to autocracy, say no to dictatorship, say no to military regime. Punch, I stand with you. So say Chinaka. Punch newspaper are paid sycophants. Mr. Ezazaki has always been in and out of detention during Babangida and Abacha government for acts of terrorism. The same blocks federal highway against the cohorts of country. Dasuki misappropriated the fund meant for purchase of military equipment to prosecute insurgency war in the northeast, which led to the death of cream of Nigerian soldiers in the war theater and gun running. If Punch editor is elected president, let him set those people free. It's none of my business. Buhari remained president and is in charge of the armed forces. They are entitled to their opinion. Like, seriously, that's what this person is talking about. And someone say, how much will you receive for saying this? Someone say, well said, brother. Daily Post, I am disappointed. I am unsubscribing you right now. Daily Trust, we know where you are coming from. Have you people been sleeping? Someone say excellent job, Daily Post. Daily Trust, journalism is not a crime, but the Punch newspapers have no right to change the title of Mr. President to Major General and called his administration as a regime. This is totally wrong. Therefore, my advice here is better for government to take serious action against these bad and corrupted Punch newspapers in order to show a lesson to other newspapers across the country and at large. That's what somebody is saying, and a lot of people are replying to this particular comment. Someone say, from your comments, I can see that English language is your major problem. That explains why you find it so difficult to understand what Punch wrote in their editorial last week. Someone say, Mr. Man, go and sit down inside gutter. Nigeria is bigger than any one individual or group. What is on ground shouldn't be looked at with undue sentiment. What Punch publications did was in order and has not in any way violated anything. What we are experiencing today was what we Nigerians stood against in the 90s, then under military regime. But now this is democracy. The country has to be ruled democratically and not militarily. Our president has severally voiced out his dislike for democracy. So wake up. Nobody hates the president, period. Exactly. From your statement, it is clear that you are a dictator yourself. I hope you get to feel very well the effect of dictatorship with your family. I also hope that you are shot totally and lose your stupid freedom totally, because it's clear you don't need it. The Punch did not mandate anybody from calling or addressing Buhari as president. After all, we now have two constitutions, that of the APC and Nigeria. Haha, majority carry the board. Daily Trust, newspaper with double standard. Unless people and thunder fire una. Hey, this is serious. And someone say a daily trust without trust does not symbolize a media house. Where is freedom of speech and freedom of media? If anyone can express their opinion in a bad government, kudos to Punch. Punch newspaper response was biased and a real abuse of freedom of speech, which could only be tolerated by a character of a Buhari. Or where was Punch when Nnamdi Kanu released on bail on same charges as Sowore, John Bail, and continue disturbing the system? Punch should apologize to the entire nation and presidency, or be ready to face whatever consequences. That's what somebody is saying here. Somebody say, what are you vomiting? You are a liar. Buhari and group of protesters dancing back then in both Lagos and Kano as if they were commissioning a new refinery. Who stopped them? So guys, we can go on and on and on. A lot of people are reacting and a lot of people are really on the side of the Punch. And I don't know what you guys think. Daily Trust, has come to say, oh, Punch did not do right by calling the president, the name they called him and all of that. So what do you think? Is Punch right, or the Daily Trust is in order? Leave your comments below in the comment section. Thank you very much. Bye.